I am a natural light photographer. If you were to look at my portrait work on my website, you're going to see 99% of everything I've ever done is natural light and like maybe 1% with constant lighting. I personally just love working with the 36,000 trillion lumens light that we all have for free, the sun. Occasionally, I might put on one of these little flashes. This is a Godox Lux Junior, and this is a little flash by Reflex Lab. Both of these flashes are really small and they work really well on the M11. I will use these flashes when I just want that like point and shoot kind of look, when I'm just kind of goofing off, nothing serious. I recently wrapped my first workshop ever here in the Bay Area. More on that in a different video. And for one of our sessions, my good friend Scott tagged along. Scott is an incredible photographer from the Santa Cruz area. He specializes in portrait work, and he's even got a workshop coming up in France later this year. You can check out that information right below. Scott brought with him his flash and his flash remote for the hot shoe for the camera. He brought his diffuser and light stand, and we set that up for a foggy sunset shoot right on the Monterey coast. The flash that he brought along is a Flashpoint Explorer 600 Pro, which is battery operated, which was pretty awesome because it allowed us to be able to use this flash in what would normally be a natural light shoot that didn't have power or a generator or anything like that. Now, as I said, I have literally zero experience using like a real legitimate flash. But with that lack of experience and a 1964 Chevy Malibu and my friend Jen modeling for us, I was able to put that zero experience to work, and I stepped away with some photos that I'm really happy with. But before we go any further, if this is your first time here, my name is Dave. I'm a photographer and videographer from the Bay Area of California. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I put out 2 videos a week unless something goes horribly wrong. Now, to use a flash on a Leica, it could not be more simple. You simply put the remote onto the hot shoe, and then you're gonna dial in the settings to get the exposure that you want. M cameras have a little flash symbol on the shutter dial. You can see it right here, that little red arrow. Now that means it's at 1/180th of a second, which is more than enough for portrait photography. So I just set the dial there. I set the ISO at 64 so I would have the cleanest image possible. And then I just stopped down the shutter to get the exposure dialed in. Now throughout the shoot, I did adjust the ISO to be able to get more of a wide open look as I was taking photos of Jen in this car. But using the flash could not have been easier. So just as a quick comparison, you can see right here some natural light. And this is with flash. Both of these looks are really cool in their own unique way, but by just shooting natural light portraits, you really miss an opportunity to completely change the style of what you're doing at the shoot. Using a flash was really a very different experience, which resulted in very different photos, which honestly really was cool for me to get to have that experience. So what did I learn? I learned that using a flash on an M is not really intimidating at all. You just put the remote on the hot shoe. You don't need to go into the menu and really make any changes. You just dial in your exposure settings and keep the shutter slow enough so you don't get the shutter moving faster than the flash. That would be a problem. But you could just set it to the flash sync and go for it. There was nothing intimidating on the front end about the setup, and on the back end, it was really just about getting the settings dialed in, the strength of the flash versus your shutter and your aperture and your ISO just to get the exposure right, which only took maybe 1 or 2 shots to figure out before I was ready to go. I imagine really experienced flash photographers just kind of know this stuff already, but I did not, and it wasn't intimidating. I also learned that there are a ton of different looks that you can create using a flash, but also moving that flash around different angles, different heights, close, far. There's a lot that you can do with a flash to completely change up the look. All of us at the workshop were just passing around this trigger from person to person, and everybody was moving the light around and getting their own unique take on shooting this scene. And everyone has come out with different shots, which is awesome. I know that flash photography is really important to a lot of photographers, and perhaps you are one of them. I would love to hear your tips and your experiences using a flash, especially on a camera like the Leica M system. Be sure to drop a comment below and share that with the community. To learn more about the flash that we were using, which again was battery operated, and Scott said he got like 400 shots or so per battery, and I think he had a couple of batteries, which that's pretty wild. But to learn more about this flash, I've got a link right below that'll take you to check it out. You can learn more about it, and I'm sure there are plenty of other YouTube videos reviewing this flash and giving you way more technical information than I will ever give anyone on this channel. Also, be sure to check out Scott's website below, and even head over to France with him. You'll learn a ton from this guy. Like I said, he's just this incredible photographer. I can't speak highly enough about him, so be sure to check him out right below. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.